Give me that pick jar you got there, Chris.
Yeah.
And we're back with the Three Chords of the Truth show, and this is going to be one of the cooler shows that we've done because we've got some good friends of ours, the Chris Squier band. We got a couple other little surprises tonight. I want to mention a couple of things before we do get into this because I've been meaning to do this for the last few shows. Visit our friends over at Special Spaces Buffalo. These people are the coolest people. They donate their time to basically, they create customized bedrooms for kids with life-threatening illnesses. And I know there are several of us that have tried to do what we can do to try to help them out, but they don't, I went looking for their webpage today, but I think you need to go to specialspaces.com and then just select Buffalo if you're inclined to donate to something like that. They could always use some help. And great people, my good friends Lynn and Bev, that I've known for more years than I'd like to even admit to. And the thing is that I got a microphone that I've been wanting to get for at least a year. Our first guest on this show, Dave Bieniek, has one, and he put a video up, and I'm listening to it. I'm like, Dave, what the hell kind of microphone is that? Because it is just so clear and crisp. He told me what it was. I went to Sweetwater, and I saved almost $100. So if you go to Sweetwater, talk to my friend Jake over there. Great place to do business with. Now, the next thing that I got to say is that here we go. For the first time, I think he's been gone on a mission for the CIA, but we're bringing back our good buddy, Alex. And I wish we had an applause mode on this because it's just me clapping. But Alex, glad to have you back, man.
It is good to be back. Good to be back on the airwaves here on the Three Chords and the Truth. And I'm really looking forward to tonight's show. So
yeah, Alex has got
knock it out of the park.
He's got a voice for radio, a voice for television, and I just got a face for radio.
All right, I don't know what you're talking about.
All right, enough of this. Let's bring in my friends, the Chris Squier band. Gentlemen, how are you?
Hey,
good to have
you. How are you doing?
Let's go left to right. We got Chris Squier on the left, Larry Smith in the middle, and Steve Bell over on the opposite end. Good to have you with us, guys.
Well, good to be here, man.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, been looking forward to it.
Did you also know that Sweetwater is the most expensive way to get candy? So for the audience, if you know, I love Sweetwater too, and we don't get paid for it, but God, it would be great if they really want to sponsor us. Yeah, but you order equipment from them, they give you a little bit of candy in the mail, and it's like, oh wow, I just paid almost $1,000 for a breath mint. Look at that. It's like a subtle hint.
I forgot about that.
And you'll have dinner with Don Carr.
They give you like
No, I really forgot about the little
Banana
package of
time.
candy that came with the microphone until you just mentioned it.
oh yeah, that's right, man. That's like a huge seller, man. I love that. I look forward to that candy. It's a thing.
Oddly addictive.
Oddly addictive, yeah.
Well, anyway, I just want to talk all about you guys, and I want to see where you'd like to start. I know that you've got.
Gonna be a short show then, my friend. Sorry. Okay.
I think there's going to be more laughing than there is talking through this whole thing because I'm staring straight at Larry, and that's not a good thing.
Oh.
Larry and I together, we're just. I was telling Sebastian a little while ago. That's what I forgot to mention. Over at Master Control, Sebastian DeHace, who's doing a fine job as he always does. And but I was just telling Sebastian a couple of years ago, Larry came over to put down a bass track on one of my songs, and we sat here and talked for 3.5 hours and never picked up an instrument. It was just, it's just the kind of guy Larry is.
That's like our practice, isn't it?
Sorry.
Sounds like your house, Pete.
It's usually my kid. That's usually
Right, Alex knows.
Yeah.
But no,
I will only come over for one beer. 50 beers later.
Well, we try to make it easy, man. What can I tell you?
Yes.
No, this current thing that's going on, we were just talking about it off air. Buffalo, and correct me on this, Chris, because I don't know.
big name. Band Together Buffalo, yeah.
Band Together Buffalo, yes. What's that all about?
So, so we're all trying to be creative in the area to try and figure out what can we do to kind of keep the spirit alive, get some momentum for local music and things like that. And we were kind enough, Dave Guilford and folks, Ripe Audio and a few other folks, Buffalo Local, and created this organization called Band Together Buffalo, and went ahead and said, hey, look, we're gonna do a showcase and a contest, if you will, just to get local acts some exposure online. And so we're a part of it. We were lucky enough to make it to round 2, and there were a lot of great acts that are on board there and have been included. Everybody's been fantastic. And so Thursday night, or at 7 o'clock, if you go to bandtogetherbuffalo.com, you can take a look at some of our videos and then hopefully vote for us. And the goal there is we'll be able to get some media stuff and some medication for Larry. It's really,
he's cold.
Stuff's expensive.
It's
What
true.
that means.
It's true. So cold hard cash. It worked this for
Venmo.
cash. The wrong line of work.
Venmo.
What's that Bitcoin stuff all about? Anyway, yeah. So Thursday night at 7 o'clock, we're looking forward to that. So.
No, that's pretty cool. I again, I'm getting a little bit thrown off by watching Larry there because he's just off the wall.
He's so sweet.
For some reason, him turning around doesn't make it any better. Why doesn't he?
Steve, I hear you.
Here, let me pull these back.
It makes it
up.
a little better. It makes it a little. There we go.
Oh
Now
boy.
pants are back on, so we'll be good.
Now it's a party. Now it's a party.
Larry, how many bands are you in today?
Oh no, no. It's not. I'll take the PBR.
What do you want?
The PBR. It's in the fridge.
We just sent our drummer for drinks.
That sounds familiar.
Yeah, that's right.
Do you guys want anything?
PBR sounds really good.
Here we go. It's a start. There we go. All right. So how many bands are you?
Oh, you gave me an ultra.
Oh, sorry. No, I think I'm really just in this band now.
No,
That's my contract now.
You paid the most.
There we go. That's right.
no,
But Larry, he's multi-talented. Everybody in the band's a multi-instrumentalist.
Yeah, I was gonna say I've played with everyone on this call right now, or on this in the show right now.
Yep.
Various permutations with everyone playing multiple instruments over the years. So that's why it's a fun group to be a part of.
well,
Both
and
this and with you guys.
I know Steve is as well because I've seen Steve playing piano and playing drums as well, right?
Yes, I've been doing some stuff.
Good
But-
stuff.
I'm focusing a lot on Chris's stuff right now. It's where it's at. I have my own stuff, but you just get lost in your own stuff, and that's on the back burner right now. This is what's the important thing right now.
But
Trying to get it going.
it's good stuff, though. As is Larry's. We're going to get it.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Baby stuff.
True fact about the Chris Squier band. I'm the lead guitar player, and I am literally the worst guitar player out of the whole band. I kid you not. It's not a Beatles thing. They are actually really quite good on guitar. In fact, Steve and Larry both laid guitar tracks down on some of the recordings we've done. I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to step out for a little bit.
We've added some color, Chris. That's
The colors,
we've added
that's right.
a little bit of color.
No, I wasn't aware that Steve played guitar too. I've seen him play drums. I've seen him play piano, and very capably as well.
Yep.
Same thing with Alex. Alex is, he's all over the place with what he plays. In fact, he's coming over to put some harmonica tracks down on one of my tunes and sing some harmonies. But he's
Very
a drummer, guitar player. I can barely play guitar. I do my best, but
Oh, come on, Pete. You sell yourself short.
Looks like to me you play at least 3 guitars from what I'm saying.
well, there's
so.
a lot of stuff hanging on the wall that you can't see, but
So technically you are a multi-instrumentalist then.
Yes.
yeah, let's go with that. But
I own lots of instruments.
Yes.
I know guys that buy all kinds of instruments and never play a one of them. They don't know how to play any of them. They just have them for the sake of having them.
They like to
Yeah.
collect them. Yep.
They're purdy. The M's are purdy.
I'll take that Gibson. I'll take whatever.
Yeah.
But now, speaking of guitars, we were talking again off air. Anybody that doesn't know Chris, he's an Ovation collector. He's got all kinds of Ovations, and are you able to spin that around to show your rack?
Yeah.
Wait,
How many?
Wow.
You know how long I've waited for you guys to say that.
Show.
Seriously, you're like, I'm getting up there in years. Okay.
The words of Pete Kramer don't necessarily reflect those of the Three Chords and the Truth program.
Look at those beauties.
So there's a few of them there.
Wow.
Talk
So
us through them, Chris.
well,
Start from the beginning.
Uh,
How many beers can you hold in those?
well, you know what? You can build a flotation device.
Yes.
yourself, strap them together, and you're okay. So
Build a
But yeah,
pontoon
no.
boat.
I collected them over the years. I've been collecting for over 20 years now, I always I came from the hair band era. I actually wasn't a big fan of the hair band music, but it paid a lot in the 80s. So so it was like, work's work. Let's go and get some. But there was always these, there ours were playing Ovation guitars. I was like, oh yeah, I gotta get one of those one day. And I got it at a little bit of a vicious streak. Somebody said to me once, hey, you're gonna always be broke and never gonna be able to afford those. And to that individual, I post the collection up there on my social media every once in a while just to say, oh, look, I bought another one today.
That guy still works for Ovation, doesn't he?
President of Ovation.
Sure.
Yeah.
You shall not afford it. Guitars. But a mutual friend of ours, Steve Roth, actually got me my first one and gave me a great deal on it, and then it just took off from there. But that was when they were cheap and nobody wanted them. Now the prices are going up, and I'm like, oh, well, I think I'm good right now. So,
What's your dream guitar?
one of each.
Nice.
Actually, I don't know. Right now, I'm kind of playing. I've been on this kick where I haven't been collecting the Ovation so much, but I've been on this kick of salvaging 80s Japanese guitars. So, I've got a couple Japan Charvels that came across my path. I just have an Ibanez that I just rewired and then screwed it up, so I had to bring it into the shop. But that's kind of where we're at these days.
Chris, I'm right there with you on the Japanese guitars. I've got an early 90s Yamaha Pacifica, about a Tele style made in Japan, and it is one of the best guitars as far as sound goes. It's incredible.
They're phenomenal. They're phenomenal. Yeah. And I think they're going up in value as I watch on reverb.com lately. So you might want to hang on to that one.
Mm-hmm, absolutely.
What's that new one that you just got, Alex?
Telecaster. Yep, got an American Telecaster. That's my dream guitar, and finally was able to pony up and get one.
Nicely done.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah, I thought I was done, but now
you're never done.
I thought I was done with the Martin 12-string, but now
that's a nice one.
Now I kind of want a Rickenbacker.
Oh.
I've just been seeing so many old things about, that story about how the president of Rickenbacker brought over a 12-string for John Lennon, but he wasn't there, so George got it. And it's just like, oh man, I keep listening to the Byrds and Tom Petty and all these guys playing those Rickenbackers, and they just sound so incredible. I mean, a guitar is a guitar basically, but the sound is so cool.
Mm-hmm.
So cool.
Yeah, well, the good news is there's low interest rates on your third mortgage.
And think of the amount of candy you'll get from Squier.
Man. You're going to get
Butterfingers.
Like
yeah.
You're going to get whole Snickers, man. Not those bite fun size crap.
That's
Whole
a full
Snickers.
size.
Whole Snickers.
$20 a Snickers.
They're great guitars, man.
Well,
They're great guitars.
Let me just say, if you're watching us, if you could, please subscribe to our page, like our page. This is, an awful lot of fun for all of us to do. I really thank you guys for spending some time with us. But I noticed that Chris, your web page has changed a little bit. I remember reading something on there, a review. I'm trying to remember exactly how it went, but it was something about your vocals and how it was like, your vocals were comfortable type of thing. Now, I've heard I've heard you a bunch of times.
New pair of jeans or something.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks, Steve.
Your favorite pair of ripped jeans, right?
I thought that's what I heard.
Pete's going. Pete, keep going.
Let's keep talking about your pants, Pete.
Yeah,
oh God.
Yeah,
that'll be the new tag.
Yeah,
But
that's it. Yeah,
That's it.
yeah.
Chris likes pants off.
It's like a combination of like Bob Seger, Rod Stewart, and Bruce Springsteen. I mean, you just got such a cool voice, and you got such range with it.
Oh, wow. All three guys have a lot more money than me. I got lucky with that. That's just, I don't know. I always say years of abuse, works in your favor sometimes. But, we'll see. It'll go from, Bob Seger to like Tom Waits in a couple years, I'm sure, without the cool, of course, right? Because I've got the lumberjack, this whole house look going.
Oh, we'll be right there with you.
Yeah, see, there we go.
Don't worry about it.
We'll be clanking on trash cans.
Friends in low places.
That's right. No.
But now
I've got a quick question, Pete.
Yeah. Please.
We were talking a little bit about this earlier, just about your different members and who's who and things like that. And one of the things I always love to do when I kind of research bands of whenever decade, 60s, 70s, 80s, is looking at the lineups over the years. And Chris, I guess I'll pose this question to you. Looking at your lineup of the band, how did it kind of get to where it is now? And I like to think that when you look at the history of lineups, it's probably just as entertaining as the music that's put out by the bands.
That's a great question. What will our lawyers say? What are we allowed to speak about? In which territory of the world?
Yeah.
So Larry's been in pretty much every incarnation of the band at one point or another.
For the last few years.
And what has he played? He's played.
Well, how many years?
It's 13.
Is it 13?
13 or 14.
Mm.
So
That's a lot of years.
well, that's the funny thing. Well, okay, so Larry and I played together for maybe 15, 16 years, something like that.
And before that, you were playing with Pete Carocchio,
That's
another
true.
local musician who's the one who introduced us.
That's right. He was 5 at the time, which
Yes.
was really good.
It was an odd part.
He was a prodigy.
Yeah, so in various incarnations,
Quite a prodigy.
There-
What was he doing at 5?
He just had this Play School Cookie Monster piano. It was
No,
pretty,
yeah.
the eyes were rolled. It was
Sing.
pretty freaking cool, I gotta say. I was a little jealous. C sharp minor! C sharp minor! Cookie! Cookie!
What?
There we go. See, all right, we were talking about something now. No, so wait. Let's
Sorry.
name let's name the instruments that Larry played in the
Let's
band.
do
So
it.
he
Just
played
two.
bass, acoustic guitar, but he also played piano part time.
Here and there.
And then we played some mandolin for a little
yeah,
while.
and the ukulele on that one.
In my 5 minutes worth of kind of hippie
Yeah.
so stage and that didn't work out well.
You pegged me as a hurdy-gurdy player, though. You
What's
don't play the hurdy-gurdy, the Turkish hurdy-gurdy.
No, I'm too short for it. You gotta have some. You gotta have some.
You played the
height.
accordion for a while.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, put that in for one.
Here's the real deal, though. I never actually had a band until 5 years ago. So everybody, even though we had incarnations, I just pulled people in as we needed them. I had a lot of great friends that came in. My brother-in-law has been playing keys on and off for us forever. He's
Great
currently
player.
in the band. Yeah,
Yeah.
phenomenal player. Even Dave Miller came in and did some tracks on an album. But it was when I met Steve and Larry and we all just clicked, and it just worked out really well. We have similar backgrounds. He's actually a real rock star. We'll let him talk in a little bit about
No,
pictures.
that's fine, really.
He's humble.
He's got the accent.
He does. And the pedigree, man.
It's fake.
Pedigree.
Totally
It's-
I'm here to try out for the band.
Well, yeah.
and the reality is that 5 years, almost
He's
6
not even
years
the best
on,
drummer
they
in the
still
league.
put up with me. So yeah, that's we just have a lot of fun, man. So longer answer to a good question. So
No, that's great. And just kind of hearing some of how you're describing how things just kind of come together. And I bet you ask a lot of these bands that really they just kind of come together. And I bet a common answer for some people that might be asked this question is, that's a good question. How do we get together? It just kind of just melded, and and you're looking at what we've got. We get along, and we just love each other like brothers and everything. So that's great.
that's right, man,
Mhm.
without a doubt. So,
Right.
well, you hear that sound, right? I think the first time you and I played together was at Broadway Joe's. If I'm, I think it was. So, I think we were splitting the bill with the band. You were in the time. I think you were in the Unbroken. And we had two drummers on stage.
Yeah, that's right. Yes.
And it was one of those things where a good friend, another great songwriter, Bob Farrer, was actually playing drums for us that
Oh, that's
night.
right. Yeah, we did a couple of songs at the end.
Yeah,
That's
and at
right.
the end we had
Yeah.
two drummers on stage, and Bob was just helping fill in. He's a busy guy, and we were playing, and we're like, hang on a second.
Mhm.
You exchange phone numbers
That
real quick.
sounded
yeah.
pretty
Oh
good.
yeah.
This again.
Yeah, so, but yeah, so there we are. That's it.
That's awesome.
So, as I drift off, I'm drifting off camera here slowly as I'm talking. Dude, little did you know, my foundation in my house is on a slant, and so that keeps me busy.
That's why you keep all the guitars on that side.
Yeah.
Roll
Right.
into them.
No, do you have something else, Alex?
No, that's I have other questions, but we can
And we're
talk
done.
about those a little
We'll
bit
see
later
next
today.
week.
No. We're far from.
Thank you for watching.
I just wanted to do that voice. That's all.
I know. Would you mind announcing the Sabres score too?
All right, here we go.
Say is they're losing.
No, they're losing.
They're losing.
No, I know.
Here's your intermission. Fans, if you're sitting in seat 3, row 5, section 313, you've just won an all-expense paid trip to see the Chris Squier Band. Please pick up your tickets at the fan office after the game.
He'll be playing in the men's room on level 1.
Yes.
All right. Look, I've got no way of knowing who's watching or when, but we've talked about these guys, and much of it has not been too much about their music, other than Chris's voice. So, again, we know that Steve is a very capable drummer, keyboard player, and obviously, I didn't know that he was also a guitar player. Larry. I've said this for so many years that I've known Larry. I swear I could give that guy an oboe and he would figure out how to play it. Seriously, it's just amazing to me.
Trying not to. I mean, I've played with many people, and Larry is one of those people. It's like I'm going to be honest with you. How long we play together?
It's got to be about 10 years.
I don't even know what the guy's last name is. Can he give him anything?
We overlook a lot.
Quite stuff.
We don't ask
Thanks,
questions.
I gave up trying to find Larry's last name because it changes every week.
This is a true story. This is a God's honest truth. We were recording over at John Martin's house, and it was one of my songs, and I thought it would be really cool to,
Another Chris Squier Band alumni, by the way.
Yes.
Yep. I thought it would be cool to have banjo on it. And somebody says, well, do you have one? I said, no, but I know where to get one. So John and Larry were putting some tracks down, and I came back afterwards just to see what was going on. And I said, Larry, how was that banjo? He says, pretty good. Came out sounding good. I said, really? Yeah. He says, yeah, it's the first time I ever played one. Blew my mind.
Not surprised.
Not surprised.
Yeah.
Just a guitar.
Yep.
You're watching Steve Martin clips on YouTube.
Now
There you go.
They are really
Wild
good.
and
Oh yeah, we are so wearing white suits for our show in March.
Yes.
I
It's
have the
gonna
little
be
thing
great.
with the arrow through the head. I have
There you go.
Right?
Wonderful.
Hey, let's take a minute and listen to some Chris Squier in the band music. How's that? Sound good to you guys?
Yay!
All right, go, Sebastian.
This life is sometimes beautiful when you see it through the broken glass. Things you cannot change. Ask why, but it just don't amount to much. These are the hopes that I have gathered, so fragile to the touch. My, oh my, look what we're coming to. My, oh my, these fears are coming true. I know something more than this. Another moment that I missed. Another chance for my that I still feel. Farther down the road this time, holding faded highway lines. So many miles beneath these broken wheels. Just breathe. Feel the cold, clean air. There was some place that I had to be. I can't remember where.
There we go. And there's Larry hiding in the background.
Coming up in Chris's
The
elevator.
obligatory podcast. I love that.
This is just killing me because I think we spent more time laughing than we spent talking about anything.
Probably.
Hopefully the crowd's laughing with us.
At or with.
Or at
It's
us.
such a
We'll
fine
take
line.
at us. It's
It's
fine
such a
too.
fine
Real.
We're good with that.
We're not worried about it. We're not proud.
All right, I got to know what kind of stuff you got coming up. I know Alex has got something going on at the stage, right, Alex? Don't you?
Yeah, we were just talking about that, and the band we're opening up for Bad Kitty that day. They are, I will tell you, a high energy band. You can go there, and if you like to dance and stuff like that, not that you can do that during this COVID stuff, but it certainly will get you dancing in your seat. We're more of a country rock band, and if you like line dancing and some classic rock and things like that, then that's kind of your flavor. We'll be there April 2nd at the stage, starting at 6:00.
Cool. Because
Cool.
I want to.
Corner of Main Transit.
I want to
That's
ask.
Also known as Banzit.
Yeah.
Oh man,
Well, that's good to know.
And we're off. Thank
That
you.
was funny.
it's really hard to keep a train of thought right here. No, but I got to ask all you guys, because when we don't play out that much anymore. We're mostly just record, and I'm cool with that. But you guys are all writers. You all have your own library of personal stuff that you do. But when you're playing live, what kind of response do you get if you throw in an original song? And I'm going to eliminate Ophelia because that's a personal favorite of mine. And I'm also going to eliminate Rockstar from Alex's. So, no, seriously, what happens? Because I was talking with a friend of mine, Gary Poncho. He said that we put in one of my songs into the set, and it really got good response, but we didn't announce that it was an original song. So,
well, yeah, for us, we're all original. So we'll do a couple covers here and there.
But we say that they're originals anyway.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we totally take credit.
A lot like Tom Petty.
Yeah, we totally take credit for all of it.
Weird.
Yeah, well, it's good to have lawyers. But yeah, no, we're all original. So if you're coming to see us, hopefully you know what you're going to get. But we have a big kind of arena rock sound. It's kind of what we do, right? So the idea is that when you come, you're getting a big sounding show, right? It's fist pumping themed kind of, yes, that's what we want to get to, So, so we pride ourselves on that, but we're fortunate enough that, we've gotten some people responding to it, and it's been going really well. We record all our stuff here in the glamorous and wonderful Problematic Record Studios here in lovely first ring suburb of Kenton. So just
down the road from Billy Sheehan, in fact.
There you go.
The remnants of Billy Sheehan.
Oh gosh.
As a matter of fact.
What do you,
Cape Cod, as far as the eye could see.
What do you get, Alex? What kind of or do you even include any of your originals? I mean, I dig.
We haven't gotten to that point. We certainly have talked about it. When I used to do some acoustic stuff, kind of just by myself, I'd toss in some originals there, and it was kind of what you mentioned. Is I really wouldn't say this is something I wrote, but I'd play the song and people would come up afterwards and, hey, that was a pretty cool song you played there. What was the name of it? And I, tell them I wrote it, and that's cool. But I'm glad we're on this topic, Pete. I'm glad you asked that, because one question I have for you guys, Chris and the crew, just looking at, say, original music and live music in general in Western New York, with COVID kind of being a factor into this stuff, and even thinking before COVID, how live music is in Western New York. How do you guys see the future of live music in Western New York? And then if you can get a little bit more specific on just original music in Western New York, because I know a lot of cities you go to, sometimes you can walk into some of these bars and it's nothing but original music. And if you get bored with one band at a bar, you can just go down the street to another bar and catch some more live music.
Right.
And that's what it should be.
Yeah.
I mean, I to be honest, I pride myself in playing in a band that does nothing but original music. I mean, we'll literally throw in covers just to drag out the time slot. But it's
and some songs that we
but Chris's stuff, with all our input on top of Chris's original ideas for his songs, to me sound like they could not be originals anyway. I think Chris's stuff is good enough to actually stand up on its own, where people don't know it's not original stuff. And that's what I've always liked about Chris's stuff. And going back to the description of him, you just feel comfortable. Chris's stuff, it feels like you've heard it before, not a bad way. This is just so familiar to me, and that's what I like, and that's what I like working so hard with Chris's music for, and trying to get it to the point where you don't know that it's not
right.
Yeah, because so much of his stuff, and I think that was what drew me to him in the first place as well, as far as really trying to invest some energy and time in it, is it just connects with you in a really basic way. It doesn't sound like someone's trying to write a hit song or anything.
Right.
It just seems like where he was at any given point in time, and you can almost always relate to it. What the original idea of the song was, but it just speaks to me.
They're like little time things.
Sure.
It's like It's like, this is what I was doing in 1997. This is what I was doing in '83, and some of his stuff. Some of it, when I originally first heard Chris's written stuff and what he would recorded, there was a couple of songs that actually stood out to me that I still listen to today before I started playing them, thinking that is a really good song, and I don't need to be listening to. So it became on my list of this is as good as anything that Mike Peters wrote. This is as good as anything that some of the people that I grew up listening to, and now I have the opportunity to actually play with a guy that writes, has an ability to write songs that have actually touched me. Not that Chris has ever touched me. That's not where I was going with that.
The show, though.
Well, that was going to be my next question.
There was that Toledo.
There was the music is art that we did in Florida. There was that one. That was special.
That wasn't fun. That was a fun show. Yeah,
well, you both bring up really great points about original music, and when you talk about original music, the nucleus of, say, an original song is how it speaks to a demographic of people. Right, like I always hear when you think of like Bruce Springsteen music, is I loved his music because the words spoke to me as a small town guy, just trudging it and whatsoever. And sometimes when you hear someone say, "Hey, we do original music," there's kind of this connotation or this aura of, "Oh, original music." I just want to hear the good hits, right? And I'm afraid over the years that the whole original music genre has just gotten run over so many times because people just want to hear the stuff that's on the radio, the top 20 or what have you. And I do see a resurgence of the originals coming out because, I don't know, my opinion is some of the newer stuff that you hear on the radio is kind of not speaking to me. Right. So when you get a group like yourselves that's playing originals, but it's a genre of music that, like you had said, oh man, it takes me right back to '97. Or when you hear a certain melody or a tone of a guitar chord or something like that, it's like, oh my God, does that take me back? And I think that's awesome. That's the power of original music. That's really cool.
Yeah, absolutely. And thanks, guys, for saying it. I appreciate it. I mean, these guys really made the songs come to life. You have a vision of how the songs, how you want to get them done. And then when you record them, it's like, you have to make some compromises here and there. But there's no compromise with these guys. They all put their effort into it and they all put their input. And it makes it better than where I could have imagined, right? So I couldn't write the songs that I have today and record them without these guys. It's just that sound. Right, it's just that, and the love they put into them, and it's really great.
And there's that trust too. Yeah, is the trust that you can trust the guy, you can trust Larry to play the correct bass line, you can trust me to play the correct drum line,
or call each other out.
right, and or go that route too. It's like that sounds like really bad.
Steve has a classic line where there's something that's not working. He'll just and it's perfect. It's just
I just yell loudly and point at the bass player.
May I say something? And when we hear that, we know something is really wrong. Really wrong. We have to write.
I might have to steal that one.
Yes, if I could just interject for just a second. It is the perfect. We all freeze like always. We screwed up. But it's always for the better, right? It's always for the better. But to your point, right, there's this debate about originals versus covers, and there's room for everybody, right? It's what you're, if folks, hey, look, we want to go and hear the tunes we know, that's what you're into, great. But, there's also that whole other vein of, man, there's some really great music that's out there. Mm-hmm. You got to dig a little more for it. It's not going to come to you like, it was curated back in the 70s and 80s, and then you had the tastemakers coming in and, making, crowning kings and queens of rock and roll or country or whatever. But by the same token, it's like, absolutely, man. There's from an artistic perspective, there's probably no better time now to go out there and create your own original music, especially the fact with everything you can do at home these days. Financially, it's awful. Right. It's a terrible time for music from a financial perspective because it's streaming just doesn't work for, supporting the artists. And that's what I worry about. Right. is really, if let's say, I'll take a Taylor Swift and I'll just use her, as an objective example. For her music, she can come back and say, well, look, I only made X amount of money and I had the biggest hit, in America at the time. Then what hope is there for the rest of us? So,
Sure.
So we got to change that model around. But I think there's some good things happening there that going forward, I think will be beneficial out there. So we'll see.
Yeah, that's a great point. And one thing I noticed with the whole streaming is there is a luxury to, if I just like this specific song, I can just buy that song. But back before there was streaming, it was, I love this band and I like that one song, but I have to buy the whole album for it.
Right.
And bands are making money off of customers buying a whole album as opposed to just one song.
Right.
That's a great point.
Mm. Yeah, it's hard. It's really hard. I mean, the artists need to make a living too, right? And that's the real thing about it. We're fortunate enough where we're able to, at least with this band, we're able to be in a place where we can work creatively at our own pace, record and produce ourselves, distribute ourselves, and keep costs low, but we think quality high. But to make that in a sustainable area for artists, it's unfortunately, folks out there really, and I don't want to pontificate, but I am a little bit because I'm drinking, is that if people really want to support artists, right, that they really like, that's really what's got to happen. It's got to be more than a Patreon thing. It's got to be I'm invested in that artist, and the artist in turn can invest back in their fans.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I wholeheartedly agree with that. One last thing I have, Pete, and I'll just turn it back over to you.
No, it's fine.
And this kind of ties into what I see on your website and your Facebook. There's this saying, it's our generation's just getting started. How does that kind of tie into just the discussion we were just having, just with that whole slogan of, or if it's a slogan for you guys, that our generation's just getting started?
Yeah, I think I always we're kind of a Generation Xers, largely, in that spectrum, and I always took exception to that. It was always the generation, the slacker generation, and all that other stuff. It's like our music's probably not going to appeal to the real young crowd or the college crowd, and that's okay. They've got their music, things like that. But you know what? We've got a big story to tell with our music and a big legacy. And we carry that with us. We carry that with us all our lives. And we're at a point now where I think we can take that forward. I don't begrudge Nirvana or begrudge X, for some of the things that they caused as a disruption in the 90s. It's okay. It needed to be shaken up. There's way too much hairspray. But you know what? We, there's a lot to be said from where we came from, and we have I think collectively we have a philosophy of, we want to bring back that majesty, if you will, of what, in our view, what that big rock was,
Sure.
And without I'm just happy to keep my hair right now, so there's not hairspray in the future. But we do that big sound and we enjoy it. So we put a lot of heart into it. So I don't know. Over talking.
I think
another.
I think we'd just like to get to the point where we'd like it to be that people actually don't know that they want this till we get it.
Right.
When they get it, it's like, this is what we need. Because a lot of people, especially this day and age, really don't know what it is they want, because the choice is so massive.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
It's like, I'll be honest with you. I don't think I've listened to music in years. I haven't listened to anything new in years because I just can't. It's too much work.
It is.
And if you can discover something
busy people here
that isn't work mentally.
Right.
It's like, and this is what I've always liked about Chris's music. It's not hard work. I don't need to dig into it because it's the stupid genes. God, where do you get those genes?
Savers, actually.
and it's like, and you can have the best suit ever, but you're always going to go back to that old pair of jeans.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And if you can convince people that's what it is they want, and it's up to the fans too. It's up to the people. and to actually realize that there is something else out there rather than just top 40.
Sure.
Stuff that they can just get drunk to. I mean, it's. I'm hoping this pandemic just kind of makes people realize that there is a lot more.
Oh, for sure.
Than just what used to be.
Yeah.
But why the hell did good music all of a sudden become called classic rock?
Right.
But
it's marketable, right? It's
but why do you have to box it like that?
Yeah. Well, I think you have to talk to the various board of directors and shareholders at this point, right? Frank Zappa had a great point in the '80s, and he said that I'll paraphrase it. He said, it was the point where shareholders kind of you got the hip person that was the tastemaker, if you will, to try and bring the music to the audiences, where they used to have this opportunity where it was just the record company looked at it as a business. They're like, I don't care, just release it, let's see what it does. It doesn't have now you can't find that anymore, right? Or let alone a record label that if you're not already fronting all of the costs and all of the liability, you're never going to get there,
Right.
But I think the point is that once music really became, and I don't want to bash the making money per se, but boardrooms have no place in rock and roll. They don't. And that's the thing is when you're worried about risk because it's going to hit your shareholder stock, right? If you take a risk on a great artist or have to invest for a couple of albums because you see something there, well, then you got nothing. You got the same song that's coming out every week.
Right.
But there's also 1,000 other bands coming up behind you that is willing to do.
Sure.
Yeah, it's absolutely right.
And that's where people are kind of educated that there's so much more to it than just that, and that's going to be the main struggle.
Although it's always going to be about having the right thing just put in front of you.
Yeah.
You're not going to. No one's going to get educated, but
that's why we send Larry out a lot, house to house.
Yes.
Yeah. I have a really attractive hat that I wear for that.
All right.
You can put drinks on either side of said hat.
We need some more Chris Squier Band music. What is it? ChrisSquierBand.com, correct? ChrisSquierBand.com.
Squier.
Yes.
Go check that out. And again, subscribe to our page because we got a whole bunch of more cool other musicians coming up over the next couple of months and stuff like that.
Hey,
yes.
Pete, how much is a subscription?
It's free. I'm glad you asked. You don't even have to enroll in Medicare for this.
But if you call now, you'll get this handy flashlight just for calling.
With free shipping.
I'm stumbling around in the dark all the time.
Thank God for this AARP flashlight.
It's so much better when Alex was talking because we had a good conversation. When I open my Yap, everybody starts laughing. Now, Chris, set us up for this next video that we're going to watch.
Oh, I think this is the song for our latest release. Is called Farther.
Nope. We did Farther.
And it's definitely the next one. So then this was our release over the fall called Best Days.
That's the one.
Yeah. And so, we work with a great local company, Northern City Productions, on this one. Had a lot of fun video experience. I always say the highlight outside of playing with these guys on it was the fact that we got to use a drone. Yes. There was
cool.
And it was a great side story. We're like, wouldn't it be cool if they had a drone for this thing? And they pulled out the freaking drone.
There you go.
It was great. So a couple of the shots went that way. And it's a weird experience to try and sing and keep your concentration when you've got a drone flying in from, heights, as it will, to your face.
Closer.
Yeah. So anyway, here's Best Days. Hope you guys enjoy it.
Yeah, dig Best Days, and then we'll wrap things up after that. Chris Squier Band, Best Days.
Oh,
A shout out to Ian.
All right, I guess there's a problem trying to play the video. Not sure what happened. We were watching it earlier.
Please deposit another 25 cents.
So that means this whole time we've been on.
It wasn't gonna. It was playing, but it was not like you can't actually like watch the video.
All right, I'm not sure what happened with that. Well, anyway, you can go to chrissquireband.com and find the video. I don't know what happened with us over here that we couldn't play it, but he's going to throw.
there you go. Thanks, guys. Yep, it's definitely out there. So, no, we appreciate it. It was a lot of fun to make. So.
No, and it was a lot of fun to watch because, you know, I really dug watching it. As soon as it popped up on the Facebook page and stuff like that, it was just like, this is really cool. But now, what else you got coming up? You got something coming up at the Old First Ward? Is that what it is, or is it just someplace in South Buffalo?
Actually, not. We are doing an online concert on March 20th. That's a Saturday. At the 9th Ward at Babeville. And so we'll be playing at 8 o'clock. We do an hour show. And it's free. So if folks want to come in, we'll be raising money for our great friends at Music is Art, the Western New York Music Alliance, Music Industry Alliance. And we're very happy to be a part of that. And
Very happy to be part of that.
yeah. And we're gonna have a lot of fun. We're gonna debut a couple songs that we put together. These were some songs that were in my kind of back catalog, as it were. We redid them and put them in the set. So we're really excited to debut those, and it's going to be a good time.
Looking forward to that too, because the one thing, and I wanted to say this before when Steve was talking, because I remember there was that old famous line about somebody said to John Lennon, you know, what did that song mean when you wrote it? And, you know, Steve kind of was talking about your songs in that, and Lennon turned around and he says, what did it mean to you?
Right.
That's all that matters. What did it mean to you?
That is all.
What a great response.
Yeah.
Because he didn't remember.
Well, that could be.
Just saying.
There, it's true.
Harry Smith, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, he didn't say much, but when he does say something, it's pretty.
There you go.
I'm trying to be quiet tonight.
That's true, man. And you know, and that's the beauty of music, is that, you know, it's always about the interpretation of the listener, you know, and apply their own story to it. And Steve, it reminds me of something you told me once in a conversation, which was it jumps a little bit.
Would you want to be in there? Is this why you're giving this to me?
Is that you mentioned something about one time we were talking about music and how, you know, people tend to treasure music because associate an experience with it, right? And you know, you don't want to ruin that for somebody too, because if you have a different view of like, oh, well, the song was, you know, it's like, oh, well, this song meant a lot, you know, I was going through a rough breakup, and it's like, oh, well, I wrote it about my dinner I had that Thursday night. Well, you know what? That's probably not a great thing to say, is it? You know, so it all depends on the listener. So how they relate to it.
Now, I don't know. Like I said, I'm looking forward to finally being able to see you guys on that thing at South Buffalo. And is that going to be online? Can we?
Yes,
we can watch it.
It will be on Facebook. Yeah, it'll be broadcast on Facebook. If you go to facebook.com/Chris Squier Band and Squier, we had a little bit of a couple folks in my ancestry could have gone to school. Got a little messed up there. Well, not yes. That's
Get
the
it?
problem.
Get it?
Yeah, I'm not.
Yes,
band, but
yes.
but
So, only on a base level.
It's good.
Oh God, Muso joke.
That is
how?
good.
Wow.
That is.
How does this happen?
How does that happen?
Tuesday, Jet.
Closer to the end, you know, things get a little. Let me relayer it to you.
How many hours do we have? We could go on for a while. Yeah, so yeah, March 20th, and we're looking forward to it. And it's I'll say incidentally too, and I know we're running out of time here, but it would be almost 1 year to the day where we were actually last year at that time, we were doing a concert for, I don't know, well over 1,000 people down in Florida.
Yeah, it was a good time.
Yeah. We were doing a big show, and boy, has time changed. It was almost like the minute we got off that plane, it was quarantine time, you know. So So we're glad to get back into things, and looking forward to hoping that everybody gets out there and gets playing soon. So
Let's hope. That's all we can do is just hope.
right, that's
Yeah.
it.
Final
Let's-
words. Final
Once
words.
again,
Alex, you
just
got
to-
anything else you want to ask? Go.
I like that idea.
I do too.
Yeah, let's put a festival together with some of the local bands.
Of nothing
sounds
but
good.
original music.
Original music.
No-
Everyone broadcasting out of their, preferably their
covers.
kitchen with the refrigerator open, so we
Why?
can see what.
Why?
Because
Why?
because it would be
Why
different.
a fridge?
It would be
What
different.
is a fridge?
Welcome to practice with the Chris Squier band.
Yeah, right.
Why not a kegerator?
I always wanted to watch dishes.
One last question for you guys before we cut this really good time closed here for today. If there's one person listening to this show today and they're into music and they have some originals they want to get out there, but they're a little apprehensive about it, I want each of you to kind of respond to this. If there's one thing you could say to that person to encourage them, what would you say? Well, Chris, we'll start with you.
Oh, start with me. Hey, yeah, I would say just do it, man. You never know what's going to happen, and there's going to be detractors no matter what you do, right? We get people that are really into our music. Hell, we had streams this week from the United Arab Emirates. We never had that before.
Wow.
So we're streaming in 40 countries now. But yeah, we get static from folks, and you know what? That's fine. We'll take the press, but don't worry about the detractors, man. Get it out there, give it a shot. If you love what you do it. That's there is no second chance in this, man. So you got to take your chances when you can. So
Awesome.
Larry.
I would say that yes, if you're someone who's got some original music and stuff like that, man, if you have fun doing it, that is the number one thing in the world. I mean,
Right.
gosh, if you can get that on tape, there's so much music out there right now that does not sound like anyone's having fun. Rise above.
Amen.
You said tape.
I did. Oh, sorry.
I was waiting for somebody to say that.
That was so
You
sweet.
know what I mean.
And if anybody needs anybody, Larry's got bags of.
Yeah, I do have a lot of tape at home. Steve?
I
what's your
personally,
take?
you know what? But interestingly enough, I would say completely the opposite. I would say listen to the detractors. Listen to the people that say that's not very good. Because all that's going to do is make you work harder. If everybody says your stuff is great, it's like, who gives it? I could care less if somebody says my stuff is great. I like it when somebody says, yeah, try this. Do this. If you tried doing this, think about doing this. I just want to keep learning. And I think people need to keep learning, stop resting on their laurels. Again, with Chris's stuff, we're revisiting Chris's stuff from what, 10, 15 years ago?
Some of it, yeah.
And it's breathing new life
It's new
into it.
now.
And the
Yeah.
constant change is just a good thing. Static is not good.
Stuff is good.
Constant change. But it's constantly changing. And you keep telling me it's crap.
People, not in front of people.
Perhaps you should.
Might I make a suggestion?
May I interject?
Yeah, interject.
I have to say, I think one of your number one hits could be Steve just talking in a microphone going, number 9.
No,
Number 9.
That's how he fills time in set 3.
Oh, just wait till the live broadcast.
All right, again, I just want everybody to go to the ChrisSquierBand.com page, find the video for the best days. That's a really cool video. Then you'll know what we were talking about before. Apologize for that not working. I don't know. We had a hiccup over here in the audio and video, but guys, thank you so much. It's been,
Thanks, guys, for coming on the show.
Yeah.
Thanks for having us. We appreciate
Thanks
it.
for letting us hang out for a little bit.
Yeah.
No,
Off to practice.
Yeah.
Nice.
no, it's so cool. Next week we've got Patsy Cristofalini. I think her name. I think I'm saying this right. Patsy Silver Cristofalini. I'm not sure.
We're gonna tune in next time.
It's like Jeopardy.
No, but next week will be on Wednesday evening. Again, go to the ChrisSquierBand.com and come to us and subscribe to this page and check out these guys, dig their music, and thanks so much for joining us. And Alex, Good to have you back, man.
It's great to be back.
All right, we are out. Sayonara.